What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex. In this video, I want to talk a little bit about the Iron Man game. Just kind of speculate. I've been thinking about this game a little bit recently. I thought, let's talk about years and kind of distance between when something was announced and when it was revealed, because we're actually approaching 3 years that we've heard about this game, and it's not like we've gotten absolutely nothing. They've commented on this game once or twice. They've gone to GDC. I don't actually even remember or know what they showed off at GDC, but like there's been very, very, very small things here and there, but we're approaching 3 years that this game was officially announced. Now, you also have Dead Space Remake, and that game didn't end up coming out until January, I believe, of 2023. So about 2.5 years, since then. But is it kind of a reasonable area to assume like we're going to get a trailer or something with this game? I actually feel like the answer is yes. Now, like we have games that have gone beyond 3 years. In fact, when I'm recording this video, I just recorded one on Wolverine. Wolverine is about to approach 4 years, I think, in September of when it was originally announced. But honestly, like the amount of games that make it 4, 5, 6 years from when it was announced to and shown the first trailer to when you see like its re-reveal, those are not the ideal games. Those are not, whether they come out good or bad, that's almost separate. You don't want to do that. You don't want to have 4, 5, 6 years between announcement and then showing the next trailer, and then you still have to wait after that. So, when I think about Iron Man, and I also think about the speed that Motive works at, and that's another kind of big factor of it is, okay, like, everybody's a little bit different. Do they work fast enough where, 3 years, I'm not expecting it this year. And in fact, I don't really expect it next year either, right? But 2027, and could you then get a trailer right now, maybe over the Summer Game Fest, Gamescom, kind of to celebrate 3 years, and then they take another year off, and then maybe like second half of next year, they really start pushing this game for release in 2027. I think that makes sense. So what I wanted to just quickly do as part of this video, to look back, so Dead Space's remake, it was initially, I think, rumored by Jeff Grubb a few months before it actually happened, but that thing was announced in July of 2021. Now, it was announced in July 2021, and then it came out literally just a year and a half later. I don't think it's like the perfect, like it kind of makes a little bit of a point I want to make, but it also maybe isn't fair to compare it to Iron Man, right? Because you say, okay, that game had a lot of work that was put into it even, years prior. They didn't start it right then and there and released it a year and a half later. But at the same time, the speed at which they work and then, announcing it and releasing it a year and a half later, that's pretty fast by like industry standards. A lot of games do it far, more prolonged than that. So that's really good. So this one, obviously it's going to be different. Obviously, their priorities were kind of split. Even when they announced it, that was still before Dead Space came out. So it's like, okay, you still have to put Dead Space out, and then you have to get to work, on a game like this. So I can see it taking longer. It has factually taken longer, but I just wonder, quick speculation video, could this year be the year? I feel like 3 years, like you got I feel like this is kind of that part of the cycle where it becomes almost expected and where you're going to get more and more mad, if you don't do it. Now, I'm not condoning, threatening and harassing and all that stuff. I always say that's crossing that line that shouldn't be crossed. But I just feel just in the general like mind space of people, once you get to 3 years between the announcement and then nothing, I think around 3 years it starts to tick people off. And then when you get to 4 or 5, plus when you get to Kingdom Hearts territory and, Beyond Good and Evil, it's just a whole nother, like level that you just really don't want to be a part of, right? But when you get to that, it becomes almost like half embarrassing, right? You really don't want to pass 2 or 3 years, and some games do it, many games do not do it, and hopefully, this is a game that's shown maybe even this summer. And I'm not expecting much. I wouldn't be expecting much. Trailer, just show it. You don't have to show gameplay if you don't want to. Just show a trailer. It's not like we don't know that it's Iron Man, and then take another year off and then really start to, hit us with a lot of details and how this game is going to play and stuff. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure, as always, you're subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on, and I hope to see you all on the next one.